YouTube, what is good? So today we have a really fun episode of photography behind the scenes, small town edition. So I've made a video like this in the past where I go to a small town around Georgia and challenge myself to make photography. Today is one of those days. I have no idea when this video was filmed. It just slips my mind. I don't know when it was made, but I thought it'd be cool to go ahead and put it out now because a lot of y'all are stuck inside and I thought it would provide a little bit of entertainment. I've mentioned this before, my favorite movie of all time is No Country for Old Men, and anytime I go to a small town, I drive through one, I just think to myself, there's so many photography opportunities here. It reminds me of that movie, and this video is no different. I always challenge myself to look for scenes, look for kind of interesting still lifes, different compositions, just things that have a real gritty American small town feel. And the more I do it, the more I'm really interested in it, especially living in the South. I've made so much street photography in the city that who knows, this could become a lot more of a theme on the channel. But today was definitely a hard day of photography. I made a lot of photos that didn't turn out great just to get the few that I really liked that I'll talk about at the end of the episode. Also, you're probably wondering why I'm in the garage. I'm honestly just so sick of filming in my office. Figured I'd switch it up a little bit today. So hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're not yet. Let's jump into this behind the scenes. I wear a GoPro on my head. Let's get it. So we're out here today with my father-in-law, Mark. He actually shoots Leica. He's got an M10, which he might let me borrow for the channel sometime soon. I'm using the Leica Q-P today. We're getting a quick warm-up shot here. We started on this parking deck in progress, I guess is what you would call this. Make a few photos through these bars right here of these buildings. Nothing too special, but y'all know how it goes. Got to get the creativity flowing. There is Mark right over there chilling. He's got that cool hat on today, which we're definitely going to take advantage of. Notice this like shadow right here, how my shadow lines up in that hole on the building. Thought that looked kind of cool, like the colors. Also could be a good photo to set a scene or set the scene in a set later on. But I noticed Mark's shadow right here reflecting on this wall, so I have him move over a little bit. The problem with this like composition is I liked having all the buildings in the town off in the back and then his shadow there, but obviously my shadow is getting lost in the shot. Right here, I just picked my camera up, dropped my aperture to like 1.8 and make this portrait. Came out really great. Love the colors on that. Everything looked good. Like this light right here with the shadows on the ground, but the problem is he needs to be like more in the middle for this shot to work. He's too close to the wall. In hindsight, I should have called him over and said, hey, kind of come get in this shot, but not a big deal. Hey, if you ever want to see what my hair looks like when I'm wearing this GoPro on my head, here is your chance. It looks absolutely ridiculous. So I like this still life situation that we have going on here. We have a lot of good light, a lot of good shadows, and kind of a lot of interesting items all stacked together. And I'm trying to figure out a composition that would work to showcase them and tell some type of the story of the day. But once again, we're having this composition issue where my shadow is in the shot. So I try to incorporate it into the photo. Not my favorite right there either. So another example of a cool composition is right here. We have these two do not enter signs. We have the what you call it, the those like orange traffic cone things, and then we have the corner of the building. We have the two lines on the building or the two windows with the handicap signs. There's a lot of elements here that can create symmetry and layers, but once again, there just wasn't enough going on inside of this scene. So it was at this point in the shoot that I realized I wasn't going to be able to photograph this location the way I normally would. I won't be able to look for scenes, I won't be able to look for layers, look for building corners, that type of thing. I need to look for more like details and more storytelling type shots. Like that photo is so boring and terrible right there. So I start looking for these details and I go for this mailbox right here. Figured this was a good place to start. Thought it was interesting, thought there was some decent color. Couldn't really like make the composition work, but not bad. I started to think, okay, I might be on the right track here. So we are in this like residential area and I was keeping my eyes open for old cars and stuff like that. So I was looking for details and this definitely is not it, not a good photo. I noticed over to my left there's this yellow sign with these flowers with this old house and the blue sky. I really like the way everything looks together through a real like vintage looking edit on here, and it's kind of cool. Not what I was going for, but I noticed this bush right here with these red flowers, and this is the exact type of detail that I was thinking in my head that would pair up really nicely with one of the photos earlier. So turn my Leica Q over to macro mode, make a bunch of photos here of different flowers. This was one of those things where I just made so many photos and knew I'd come back and curate them later on. So made a bunch of images here, and I really like this feature on the Q, the fact that I can switch it over to macro mode. And I finally found my old car here. The problem, the lighting here, the whole situation, the color of the truck, it just wasn't the most interesting like old car that I found, so I bailed on it. Figured I'd wait for another opportunity in another video to get some old cars. So that old Coke machine was pretty cool. I couldn't get a composition right there just because it was very busy and there was all those cars off to the left. I see this red truck right here, and it's another example of a busy composition that I'm struggling to get work. Really like the scene, like the truck, and I'm trying to figure out how to highlight it. This is the best I could come up with. Not exactly what I had in mind in my head. I wanted to get a little bit closer, but people were working and I didn't know if it was someone's car. Didn't want to be that guy creeping around trying to get a shot. So bailed on that one. Maybe I'll come back one day. And to close everything out, there's this Dollar General right here. Make two photos real quick. One of the yellow sign against the blue sky, one of the person walking through. Kind of cool too, but it just didn't do enough for me either. Today was definitely tough. I was having a lot of photos that I just couldn't figure out how to tie them all in together. And there we go, that is the behind the scenes today. A lot of those photos had so much potential, but they just didn't come together. It was like there was enough layers, enough elements, but I don't know, it just didn't all tie in together. And that's one thing I love about these challenges, is it makes me want to go back and try again later. So one of my favorite photos on the day that had that feeling that I'm talking about was the truck photo. Like, I feel like there was something there. I got close, but it just didn't come out the way that I hoped it would turn out. Like, there's something missing about it. Maybe I needed to get closer. Maybe there just needed to be something more interesting. The composition was kind of weird. I don't know, but that photo had a lot of potential, and it's not necessarily bad, but I'd rank it like a 2 out of 5, where I think I could get a 4 out of 5 with something there in that same scene. So I don't know. My favorite photos on the day, I ended up making kind of a set combo out of. One was one of the macro flower photos, and I paired it up with that portrait of Mark. It's funny, that was the cleanest, sharpest, best looking photo of the day, and I just like lifted my camera up and made the shot randomly, like I wasn't even thinking when I made it. So really like how that came out. Love how those paired up together. That was one idea I had in my head throughout the day, was to pair a macro photo with another photo to kind of tell a story and a vibe. Definitely did that. Y'all can check these photos out on my Instagram and Twitter at Evan Ranft. I'm going to eventually post them there. Who knows, I might go back and re-edit some of the other ones and they could show up there as well. But my favorite on the day was that combination of those two photos. And hey, that's always the goal with these videos, is to go out for an hour, hour and a half and make one photo or one thing that I'm happy with. So we accomplished the goal. I did it. If you enjoyed the video, like I said, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for more photography behind the scenes videos like this one. Y'all are the truth. I will catch y'all next time. That is it for photography behind the scenes, small town edition.